What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Good Bro, Bad Bro. This podcast is all about helping young kings and queens with their dating, social skills, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle improvement. Today, I'm going to be featuring a guest named Jimmy Zhang. He's a popular YouTuber with about 1.1 million subscribers. He reached out to me a while back about some consulting stuff. I checked out his channel, and it seems like we have very similar content. So this should be a really fun episode. We're going to break down making YouTube videos, going viral on YouTube, dating, doing interviews on the streets, and so much more. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment for the algorithm, and if you need one-on-one coaching and consulting, be sure to check out denmo.social for one-on-one coaching and consulting when it comes to dating, approach anxiety, social skills, relationships, getting through a breakup, making a new friend group, attracting a super dope partner to your life, and so much more. All the details are on the website. Without further ado, enjoy the episode.
I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together.
What's up, bro?
Mr. Zhang, what's poppin', pal?
Right now I'm in LA. Funny enough, I'm actually going to Vancouver tomorrow.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in Vancouver for the weekend. I do want to introduce you a bit and like how I actually found out about your channel. It was the Virgin video.
Oh, yeah.
Like taking the Virgin to the club. I think after that, you inspired me, bro. You inspired me to do my own Virgin video, but I did it with a porn star.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
But that initial video was that your boy? Was that just a fan?
Dude, yeah. So as the story goes, I was doing all of these drunk interview videos, and I was always asking fans and people like, yo, like what would be a good question for next week or whatever. And I can't remember what video it was, but I was talking to this girl. She looks like a porn star, man. It's the girl with the full body tattoos. I was asking her some kind of question, and then she started talking about virgins, and I was like, what advice would you give to a virgin? So we did a whole video on that. And then basically I was like, guys, if this gets this many likes, I'll take a virgin to the club. Blew through the likes. And then all of a sudden my email just blew up, man. People like, yo, pick me. So I was like, all right, this was like summer. It's probably like July 2019. I was like, fuck it. Let me make like an MTV style advertisement and then run it on my Facebook. Like, hey, tag your friend that's a virgin. We're going to pick a guy. He has to submit a video. Tell us why we should pick him. Dude, I got like hundreds of entries. Like, it was crazy. And I just picked some random guy that, so dude.
Oh, it was random. It wasn't, you didn't like, oh, he's the most qualified. No. Maybe he has the best.
Well, that went into it. But what happened was, man, so if you remember watching the original movie, first 3 or 4 minutes, I'm talking to a different virgin and I'm on the phone with him. And then all of a sudden he's like, actually, I'm not a virgin, bro. I just lied. And I was like, what the fuck? So I had to scramble and find like a backup virgin. And then I found this guy and I could tell, like I talked to his friends and shit too, but he was like legit virgin. And he just happened to be like the perfect character, man. He just nailed it. Like he was such a virgin.
He was such a, normally you could tell if a guy's a virgin.
Yeah, man. We ended up going with him. He was amazing. He's in like a corporate job now, so that's why he didn't come back.
Did that fuck him up? Like did that video kind of?
No, man, no. So he ended up losing his virginity a couple weeks later, but it was in the back of a car in London, so a couple hours away from where I lived. And he just told us afterwards, like, but he just didn't want to be in any of the sequels because he had enough of internet fame. He had a taste of it. He's like, I'm good. I did what I intended to do. And I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, I always get scared for some of these videos too. It's like, are they now liable to not getting a job in the future because we did this comedy thing on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like one day I'm gonna get canceled, and a bunch of people are gonna run out of the woods just yelling at me, and it's not because of the Virgin Squad videos, but I've done maybe 200-300 drunk interviews, like going to a nightclub, interviewing 30, 40, 50 people. And, one time, man, I did this one video, a Canada Day party in a small town, and it had like hundreds of rednecks. And 4 people from one video, 4 people lost their jobs, right? Kindergarten teachers saying like, fuck her right in the pussy, shit like that. And Dude, like a lot of people got fired. The party was like for Canada Day, and it was run by the volunteer fire department. They canceled next year's event. Like, dude, it just went hella wrong. But basically, I have a very small but angry population of people that have been responsible for their own actions, talking into a microphone while intoxicated. And because of it, the aftermath, they've lost their job. Dude, I used to do these pickup line videos, and I'd get girls' numbers, and then I'd post the video, and then it would come out that they had a boyfriend, right? So, what do I do? Like, not put it in to ruin their relationship, but like if I was the guy, I would want to know, right? So, dude, there's a lot of angry people that are just waiting for
those could even be, oh man, those could even be like another series where we expose just fraudulent women, just we expose girls. If they have boyfriends, why are they giving out their numbers?
Dude, I know. It's one of those things. Actually, so I did Calgary Stampede a couple of days ago, and I was just editing it yesterday. And there's this clip where some guy is trying to like get a girl's number. He's asking for a Snapchat, and it's all recorded, right? So I'm doing an interview beside it, but it picks up some of them. This girl's like, no, like I have a man, like I'm not giving you my number. I'm seeing somebody. 30 seconds later, man, I'm interviewing her friend, and I'm asking her friend something along the lines of like, okay, are you guys looking for men tonight? Like, what's your pickup line? The same girl that just said she had a man to the other guy, the guy walked away. She's like, yeah, I'm looking for a guy tonight. This is my pickup line. Like 30 seconds later, man. And I'm like, dude, I should make a video just on this clip about how a girl will lie to your face if she's not interested in you. But to answer your question, man, I don't know. As I get older, I'm just like, I don't want to invite all that drama into my life, Because, dude, if you're a girl and I don't know, you cheat on your boyfriend, whatever, but if it gets put on the internet, man, you're done, dude. Like everybody hates you. Like it's brutal for them. So,
but those are so entertaining to watch. Like you could like blur the girl's face, but I would watch these cheaters exposed videos. It's just so addicting to watch, right? And
were those real?
Huh?
Were those real?
I don't know, but I just
yeah, that's what I mean, man. I've seen those too. I have a feeling those aren't real.
But yeah, I feel like if I feel like some of them gotta be real. Some of them, it's just one like Mexican guy. He's kind of like nerdy, and he got these like fucking frames, these square frames, and he's like, "Hey guys, today we're gonna cash these." I don't know if you see that channel, but
no.
Yeah. What do you think? Like over the course of the past couple of years of you doing these strong interviews, right? What can you conclude about girls?
Dude, that's a good question, man. I'm realizing now. So I originally invited you on mine, but I guess you're going to do an episode for you too. So I guess we could just ask each other questions, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, because that's the question I had for you too.
Yeah, we'll just bounce back and forth. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, to answer your question, man, a friend of mine made a good analogy one day. He called it like PTSD, but essentially there's a very small amount of people in the world that get to see true human nature, right? It's much like how a police officer sees people on the worst day of their life. So does a small group of people in the nightclub scene, right? You got maybe the DJs, famous people that attend these clubs and big parties and shit. But you also got like bouncers, bartenders, security, club owners, but then also people that go there to make funny videos, right? And even when I'm not filming, I've seen some crazy shit, man. Like one time I was mid-interview, one of my roommates called me. He's like, bro, my girlfriend's drunk, passed out in a bathroom stall in the basement of the club you're at. And it's like the most dingy club ever. And she was literally like KO'd on the floor. She was so drunk. She called him puking, and then like the phone went into the toilet. So he called me knowing I was filming that night. I had to go down, carry her out of the club while they came to pick her up because they couldn't get in. Like, I've seen some fucked up stuff, but also just from talking to so many people, man, you get people are really vulnerable with you, and not just on camera, but like when you do have a presence, they come to you when you're not filming and they just tell you about themselves because they feel like, hey, like I can really, I relate to this person in these videos. But
Right.
what I've learned, man, is actions speak louder than words. What somebody does versus what they say they will do is totally different. You can really tie everything back to evolutionary psychology, especially when it comes to how women behave in these environments, but also men. I'd say clubs, alcohol, and the status around it. It brings the worst out of people. It brings the most superficial qualities. It brings the most testosterone. It brings the most, how would you put this? Like people just, they try so hard to be valuable, to get attention. You got everybody peacocking hard. It's rough, man. It's like, it has the potential to be humans at their worst. But that happens to be what people find so entertaining, right? Because people are vicariously living through that. The biggest realization I made about my videos is that most people don't watch them to be entertained. They do it because they wish they could, have those conversations. They wish they could be that social. And that I think is the real value. But yeah, man, I've seen everything about human nature from doing these videos. Like I've probably, like I said, filmed 200 or 300. I've put in probably 5,000 hours of interviewing people.
Do you ever post some of these girls home, post interview?
Do I ever what?
Do any of these girls like end up going back with you or like?
Oh, yeah. Dude, so back in the day, so I started doing these interviews probably late 2017, and I went a couple months filming them, and yeah, there was a lot of that. But then I got into a relationship, but then the relationship ended. And then I went back on another bender. But essentially what I learned after all of that is that you don't really want to date and fuck around with the girls that go to nightclubs all the time. You don't want them. They're definitely not
like one night stands though. Like one night stands, is that your thing? Is that
no, dude, I definitely went through that for a long time, man. And that's why like I've come out on the other side of it, right? Like I've experienced what so many people put on such a pedestal on the internet, like having sex and one night stands. But like once you do that, like a lot of times, it's not as great as it used to be. And it actually makes you look for more in the women you're dating, right? Like initially you just want to like capitalize on all this status and wow, this is so easy. All of a sudden I can just have sex all the time. But as you get older and you get more experience, you're like, this is kind of a waste of time, man. Like it's much better to have, there's debates, right? Some people would say, well, you could have a rotation. Others would say you just have a girlfriend. It varies, but it's much more calmer and chiller if you just have like a really solid girlfriend that provides value to your life versus going out and chasing ass all the time. It's just a waste of time. But, coming from somebody that did that for years as a caveat. What about you? What do you think about all these interviews you've done?
Yeah.
And then you started also going to like weird events. What have you learned from doing all these interviews?
I started off doing the interviews actually in daytime. So it's even more awkward, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
there's no alcohol. There's no alcohol.
No alcohol. Just, in broad daylight, I would walk up to a girl. Yo, when's the last time you or like, it wouldn't even be like that abrasive. I would ask something like I would ease it in. And so like I play into the awkwardness of it. Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm gonna ask you something super uncomfortable. When's the last time a guy went soft on you? She's like, what do you mean soft? I'm like, when he can't get his dick up, right? And I would just go up to, like, it was in New York, Washington Square Park. I remember that's the first video that like took off. And yeah, it was just me talking about whiskey dick with people at like 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And you know what's funny? It's like, because they're sober, it adds another layer of like entertainment because it's so awkwardly funny, right? But like I'm still carrying the conversation, so it's not like awkward. It's funny awkward,
yeah,
right? So I think that's what gave my videos appeal in the beginning, and then like slowly I transitioned into like the nightclub scene. It's a little bit different though. Like for me, I tapped into like a super Asian audience. Like I went to the streets of like K-Town in New York, right? And that particular block in New York City, it is very famous. If you are Asian, there's a chance that you know about the K-Town block in New York City. And
Right.
it's just literally one strip, one block in New York City. That's just it's just at like Friday, Saturday night. It's just so popping. It's like and the floors or there's like at least like 10 to 20 floors going up, right? It's because New York City is so congested. How do they make space? You just build up,
Wait,
right?
so there's like multiple bars, restaurants, clubs up?
On top of each other, right?
Dude, that's nuts. That's weird.
Yeah. So the buildings are stacked up to the ceiling, and then you'll just take the elevator to like you know 7th floor, 6th floor, yeah, whatever, and then yeah. So I would do these interviews outside. I have ran into a couple of those like, oh, can you take me out of the interview, da da da. But I think in any environment where people have like corporate jobs, it's hard. And in New York City, a lot of people are working corporate.
Legally, I don't know how different it is in the States, but from what I understand, when somebody speaks into a microphone, it is implied consent, especially when it's on public property. So like on the streets. So liability wise, you're good. You know, but I could see that being an issue. Like I've noticed similar things too when I film in downtown Toronto. That's why I don't film in Toronto a lot actually. Because there's a lot of like base. So our Wall Street is Bay Street, and there's lots of lawyers and corporate bros that just, you know, they have to be on their best behavior. People, a couple years ago, people didn't know about the internet really and how like you could go viral in like 2 days. So now people are aware of these interviews. So they're all like very reserved from what I find.
So yeah, I think it was still, it also did give me like a chance to get out of my comfort zone. So I don't know how your upbringings were, but like for me, I was like I was introverted, social anxiety, all that up until like senior year of college. So I had a long just streak of just dry spell.
Yeah, what got you into YouTube, man? Like what did you do before, first of all? And then how did you decide to transition into YouTube?
Before YouTube, I was just a nerd. I was I was not doing anything with my life.
Were you in school? Were you working?
Yeah. I was in college, but I was just just a regular guy watching anime, going to class, and watching YouTube videos. But I think I did grow up on some of those like picking up girl videos. I'd be like, oh fuck, yeah, like I could do that, right? Yeah. And then that would motivate. That would push me enough to talk to one girl at a house party. They helped me understand fear a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right. And like approach anxiety and a lot of these things. But I mean, honestly, like the videos only helped a bit. It took me fucking like just pushing myself like, yeah, and just saying cringy shit over and over again until like eventually I just stopped giving a fuck.
Dude, that's what I tell all my clients, man. Like there's so many people online that have like these fucking podcasts. Like this is how you talk to girls. This is how you text girls. This and that and this and that. But like none of them have any videos of them actually doing that. Like no guys have any videos of them actually approaching girls and women in real life that are giving all this advice. And one of the biggest things that I always tell my clients too is that like you can't just watch all these videos online all the time. You need to actually go out and learn these skills and approach. And that's how you learn them, right? People want to be perfect. They want to be so prepared that everything goes incredibly well in hopes that they don't get rejected, because fear of rejection is so strong in people. But what I'm getting at is, like that's the only way you can really do it. Like you can't read a book on it. I mean, I have a whole course that teaches guys how to do it, but one of the things in the course is that like, I can't go and talk to the girl for you. You have to eventually do it. So through repetition is the best way to do it. So in you doing these videos, that probably helped you overcome a lot of the anxiety you had approaching strangers, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's for sure. I started off YouTube a virgin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I think just over the course of making these videos, I just grew more and more confident, more and more comfortable, and I mean, it's where I am today. Which also feels like I feel qualified to help people too, because it's like, yo, if I pull myself out of that rut, I could probably help all of these guys out there do the same.
Yeah, that's the classic funnel, you know. I was an unemployed loser virgin, and now so.
Yeah. And it's like, but for me though, I speak from the heart. I speak from the pain, bro. All those times where I went home and just beat my dick night after night after night. But
Dude, that's one of the biggest things too, man. Masturbation, man. I stopped masturbating years ago, bro. Like,
really?
Yeah.
No, complete no fap.
I like sometimes I'll get stupid horny, like maybe once or twice a year. I beat off.
Yeah.
Maybe. Right. If I ever get really depressed and I'm just like in bed for a day or two, maybe to fall asleep I'll beat off. But like, it's so rare, man. It's so rare. I've gone a year at a time without masturbating, but the only difference is like, if you have to get your nut, you still have to come, but it can't be from your hand, man. So when you force yourself not to use your own hand, then you just make results in your life happen that lead you to having actual sex or, you know, getting a girlfriend, right? So, and once you've done it once, like for all these guys watching, they're like, well, it's easy for you to say. The first time you do it, like then you have a reference point for it. But I think I would argue most of the guys that masturbate, like that are commenting on all these forums about no fap and shit, they've never had sex before, man. You know?
Really?
Like, did you masturbate more before you had sex or after you had sex?
Definitely before, but I don't think I don't think it decreased that much. Like I watch these no fap videos, I'm like, yeah, they're right. But then sometimes I'm like, fuck, I'm a fully functioning, successful person, beating off 3 times a week. 4
Bro,
times
you got to
a
work
week.
on that, man. You got to work on that.
And it's just, you know, I've gone streaks like months. Oh, not months, but I've gone like 30-day periods where I did a masturbate, and they were good. They were very productive. You know, they helped my body, but you know, sometimes, bro, it helps you go to sleep. I don't do it ever like in the middle of the day, but it's just, it's like it helps me go to sleep, right?
A couple of my close friends, man. The reason I'm so hard on it is because one, I remember like, first of all, if you have time to masturbate, chances are you're a loser. Like you should be so busy. Like I'll masturbate when I'm old, man. When I'm 60, that's when I'll play video games. That's when I'll masturbate. That's when I'll do stupid shit, you know? When my body can't work anymore. When nobody cares because I'm an old man. That's the way I look at it, but it's a very like weird way to look at it. But yeah, you know, sometimes if you can't sleep, whatever. I don't hate on people too much for masturbating, but a couple anecdotal stories. One of my best friends, man, he's been a good friend of mine for years. And like, I hate to say it, but like, he's not doing the best in his life. He's what you would consider like a deadbeat. And he had a huge problem with masturbating. He would every day, as soon as he woke up, masturbate. He'd masturbate like 2 or 3 times a day. And it would just suck all the energy out of him. It would lower his testosterone, his energy. He would be socially anxious around people. It just fucking ruined his life, man. And like, I don't know. I just feel like the only people that should be masturbating are those that can afford the time to do it, I guess. Like, you're pretty successful, Jimmy. So, like, I'll give you a FAP pass, right? But, you know, like, it's one of those things that people just shouldn't be doing until they got their life together, right?
Yeah. If I was to rewind the clock, maybe like 5-6 years, there's been, I definitely had like streaks of days where I'm like, I'm focused, I'm grinding, where I didn't matter. But I think that there is a happy medium where I think, you know, on the extreme side, if people actually, you know, get into that space of like, you know, 90 days, half a year, right? And they see the benefits, then by all means, right? But then I think that there are for certain people who occasionally would do it time to time in a healthy amount.
Yeah.
where it's not being a detriment to their life.
Right.
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 But I do want to go, start my streaks now. Right. Yeah. So occasionally I get bursts of like, you know what?
Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m., go to the gym, and and I'm gonna go to sleep tired. I don't need a fat. I like those days. Those are some of my best days where I'm just
Yes. Yeah.
I
I mean,
lay in bed exhausted and I just go to sleep.
I don't mean to be an asshole too to people that have masturbation problems, because like think about before you started YouTube, making your first video, getting your first 1,000 subscribers. You probably thought, wow, that's like the craziest achievement in the world. And now you're like, this is a joke. Like I've done it so many times. But I guess the same way, there's probably people out there that like, they have a crippling addiction to masturbation. And to them, going a week without doing it is huge to them, right? So, as you mature through your masturbation journey, you start to like look down upon it more, I suppose. But yeah, it's always, what's the old saying? Everything in moderation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have you gone? What's the longest you've gone, like, for on a dry spell?
Intentional dry spell. It's been, oh man, I remember something happened to me about a year and a half ago, just like personal issue, and I was like so uninterested in dating that I went like 4, maybe 5 months without fucking masturbating, nothing.
Yeah.
But I remember before, like I really found my groove and knew what I was doing, man. I guess between losing my virginity and my second or third kill, maybe probably like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months. Like when I was younger, when I was like 17, 18, probably at some point. I don't know. I've always been able to get kills, I guess, but I feel like it has definitely held me back in the past. Like I think that in retrospect, I wished that I had a lot less encounters than I did in my earlier 20s, because all the time, like I was not thinking long term about like content, career, business. I was just thinking like, okay, society's telling me I need to go out, have a lot of sex, and get a girlfriend. That is what life is, right? And that really blinded me for years until I was like maybe, I don't know, 24, 25.
Yeah, because now I feel like, having success, you have multiple businesses to run. Intentional dry spells is almost necessary for you to like really like laser focus on your career.
Absolutely, dude. Stephen King, the famous author, he quit smoking. The only time he can have a dart is after he finishes the last page of a book. So there's ways that you can incentivize your business and your purpose by like rewarding yourself, right? So like Jimmy, if you wanted to say hit a certain financial objective or get to a certain body weight, reps at the gym, whatever, and then until you do that, you're not allowed to have sex, I guarantee that would like really push you towards hitting that goal of yours. Because as much as we try to help it, our bodies are driven by testosterone and reproduction, right?
Yeah, and it's like, how do you enforce that in like the strict? Because like what you say, it's so easy to just pull your pants down, get your dick hard, and stroke it for a quick 20 seconds, get your nut, right?
Dude, that's the thing with when you masturbate yourself too. Like, straighten out your legs, clench your muscles. You could get it done in like a minute. No girl in the world could get it done as quick as I can, man. I don't know if you're the same way. It's just like, because you know all your own spots, bro.
I know you just know how to stroke it in the right speed,
Yeah, dude. Because your body can tell the difference between sex and masturbation. Like sex actually raises your testosterone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of pro athletes too, when they're peaking performance as far as like fighting, sports, they abstain from masturbation just because it gives them an extra edge of aggression. There's so many studies done about testosterone optimization. And basically what testosterone does is it makes effort feel good. So you got to think the people that are stuck in a spell of masturbating, they aren't going out and meeting people. They aren't having successes socially. Generally, they're not high achieving because it's a lack of discipline for the most part. It's not like you're masturbating once a week, 6 p.m. on a Sunday. It's like whenever you feel like it, usually. But these habits fall into things. Same thing with alcohol, man. There's a lot of successful people that have a couple drinks on the weekend, but then there's people that like they're alcoholics. And I essentially boil everything down to, Jimmy, is as humans, we have so many vices that prevent us from being miserable. And masturbation is just one of them, man. Some people it's YouTube consuming content. Some people it's masturbating. Some people it's junk food. I know for a lot of people it's TikTok and Instagram, which, you know, is ironic. And it's funny having this conversation with you since that's most of our jobs, but we're drug dealers, bro.
Yeah, we're dopamine drug dealers.
All right, guys. So I know today's episode is not about dating, but if you do need to learn exactly how to confidently approach and attract women into your life by talking to them in public, having amazing, exciting conversations, and passing their tests and everything in between, transforming your dating life, becoming a super confident version of yourself, and getting the girl that you actually want, like your dream girlfriend, and setting up a friend group and all that, be sure to check out the Denmo Social course. It's an extensive course that helps you do exactly what I just described. I also offer one-on-one coaching and consulting, everything including getting a girlfriend, dating, going through a breakup, building social status, building a group, handling dates, shit tests, and getting the confident mindset that actually allows you to go up and talk to women in real life. Not just watch YouTube videos, guys. Everybody just watches YouTube videos all day. I guarantee I have a solution for you because I've dealt with thousands of clients and I know all the blind spots that you don't even see, right? You're probably making a mistake that you don't even realize that it's actually holding you back from getting the desired results you want with the women you want. And once you tell me your story and we go over some strategies, I'll be like, oh, dude, just do this and everything will work out for you. So if you're interested in that, be sure to book a call. Just click the link in the description below. For June, I have 60% availability actually. So I have a lot of availability left this month. Make sure you book a call, and back to the video. In regards to, so you transition into YouTube and you're doing it for a couple of years. I assume you're probably still in college while you're running it. Did you drop out, graduate? How did you make the leap to doing YouTube full time?
So in college, my senior year is when I started YouTube. And that entire year I was balancing classes and YouTube like at the same time. But I realized that like it was hard. If I had another year, I would have dropped out. But thankfully it was my last year, so I finished it, and so like I remember after I finished college, I was majoring in communications. I had no internships lined up. I might have signed up for BuzzFeed. I sent in a cute little resume, but I didn't hear back. Honestly, they're lost because I honestly their content would have been too corny for me anyways.
Right.
But I pursued my own. I was also making Facebook videos at the time too, and my Facebook videos blew up first. And I don't know if you were around on Facebook, but they had they used to have these like meme like videos with like black bars on the top and bottom, and then I would like kind of I would organize, or I'd repurpose the videos for
I think
Facebook.
so. Okay, so
yeah.
You're Asian, and all my Asian friends.
Yes, I am.
Just in case you forgot.
I am Asian.
All my Asian friends, man, their parents are rock hard on them about, hey, you have to be doctor, engineer. Dude, my one friend, he came over from China on a scholarship to university, dropped out after one semester, and he's been selling cars ever since, and his family still doesn't know. They think he graduated.
Well, I never told my parents like, oh, hey, I'm gonna I want to do YouTube as a career. I never had that talk with them. I just started doing it, and they would talk to me. They would try to have conversations, and I would shun them out. Like literally, as my mom is talking, and this is rude, whatever. I don't care. But as she's talking, I would shut my door, lock it, put on my headphones, and just start editing. And like mid this, I could still hear her in the back saying Chinese, saying some crazy shit, and I would just tune her out back to editing. And like I would like physically tune her out because I just know anything that she says like contributes nothing to like where I want to be or what I want to do on YouTube.
Damn. So you zoned out from your parents.
I zoned her, yeah, bro, because she was like, oh yeah, you should go find an intern. Like that, like every single day she would just repeat that. Oh, you should go submit your application to internships. Oh, you should find a job. You know, what is this YouTube thing gonna do? What, like, why are you making money? I don't need to hear this. I don't. Like, I don't need to hear a second of this. So I know what I need to do to like scale my YouTube videos. I know what I need to. I need to film. I need to think of ideas. I need to brainstorm, and I need to edit. That's all I need to do to be successful. And I just got to be consistent. Nothing she said to me was going to help me on this journey.
Got you.
And you know, it worked out. Tuning her out worked out, and now she is happy. She is, you know, and we have a good, strong relationship. But in the beginning, I had to tune her out, bro. And I am so glad I did that. And for any Asian people watching this, sometimes that's what you got to do. If your parents is preaching that bullshit, then you got to tune them out.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm on the same wavelength. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I'm like you. I have a diploma degree, so I have a safety net to fall back onto. Right. I actually recommend most people go to college and university just for the sake of like learning how to be around groups of others as a mature adult, and also having a safety net. I mean, the way I look at it too is like you make friendships to last you a lifetime, but there's two types of people too, right? So most people aren't going to be like us and become successful creative influencers. So like a lot of your friends now that you probably associate and hang out with, they probably do similar things that you do. They're in the entertainment business, right? But if you never went down that route, you'd still be hanging out with those same friends that you made in college and university because it's such a bonding camaraderie like time. So it's always good to have both. But the reason I bring this up is because like as you go deeper and deeper into your career and as you get older, like people really, they don't have time to do shit anymore. Like your friends, as life starts to pile up on them, maybe they didn't make the best choice with their job. Maybe they didn't go into the right field. Maybe they're like in a relationship, but their life starts to, not go so well. They stop exercising as much. They become very cucked in their relationship, so to speak. And all of a sudden you haven't heard from people in like a year or two. So the point I'm making is like, I would recommend people do both. I'd say the perfect time to launch a channel would be like when you're in college or university. That's what you did. That's when I did it too. So
yeah, I think the safety net is. I think college, what the value it provides. If you're not in the, I would say that there's only like a couple of fields where I see college paying off, and for a lot of majors, I just don't see how it pays for the $50,000 you're paying for tuition every year.
Yeah, tuition is expensive, bro. The reason I went to school is just to please my mom. Like she's a teacher. My whole family, they're all teachers, so they were just hard on me. Like, you gotta go to school for something. So I did it, but I enjoyed parts of it. Some stuff I didn't like. But for what I'm doing now, like it didn't help me at all. Like I could have done everything I did now probably faster if I didn't go to school with less money spent, less debt for tuition. And yeah, it's true. The internet, you can pretty much learn everything to do now. One of my professors actually, I remember he told me this 3 years ago. He's like, there's a really big problem happening right now with education because all these universities, they're putting free material online in order to like encourage people to enroll. And what they're actually doing though is they're watering down the courses and programs they offer because now as somebody that's a prospective customer to a university or college, it's like, what am I paying for? All this information is online. The only thing I'm really paying for is like mentorship from these professors. But a lot of these professors, they're straight out of college or university without actually having any in-field work experience. And they're reading off of lecture prompts, right? I mean, during Schmovid, everybody was in online lectures, which were a joke, but they were still paying the same amount of tuition, man.
Crazy.
And it's crazy. But I will say the only exception to that would be STEM. So engineering, medical, mathematics. Like you need to go to a proper accredited university to do all that stuff. But everything else, man, like business, dude, fucking liberal arts, all those fucking freak shows on TikTok, like you don't need to go to school for any of that, man. If I put my kids in university and college, they're going to go to STEM.
Yeah. I mean, if that's even what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's a question for you. So when you started out, man, you're doing all these raunchy videos.
Yeah.
Sex related, drunk interviews.
Well, when I started off, I actually didn't do that much raunchy shit. I started off talking about like half of my ideas was relatable topics. So if you go back to like 2016, 2017, I asked like, oh, what was your worst ass whooping growing up? And for like minorities.
Oh, actually, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that one.
Yeah.
You were comparing them between like minorities and white people.
Exactly. It didn't get raunchy until like maybe 2018, 2017 when I started doing, going out.
That's actually probably better for your channel though, man. Because like I went degenerate from day one and it just nuked my CPM. Like to this day.
Bro, my CPM is still shit. I mean, it might have been good. Like over the course of the years, like I think I came into YouTube like during the apocalypse. Like when I started blowing up, when I started getting some subscribers, that's when like the ads were coming down.
Yeah, I didn't start till after that. Like Coca-Cola commercials were playing on like street fight compilations and shit. So that brought attention to it, I think. But yeah, dude, it nuked everybody's CPM across the board. What CPM were you at before you went degenerate? Like $8-10?
I don't think I was ever making a good bag from AdSense. I think like my best month was probably like $8,000 to $9,000. But that was when I was hitting like 6 or 7 million views that month.
Yeah, dude, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like for that amount for a finance channel, they'd probably be making like 30 to 40,000.
Oh, dude, insanity, man. I have like 5 YouTube channels now, and I've been trying to find ways to like change the CPM on my main channel. And I literally would upload the exact same video on my other channel. Yeah. And the CPM would be 3 times higher. And I'd be like, what the fuck? you know? Yeah. But yeah, that's one of those things you learn as you grow. I guess it's not sustainable. What I've learned though, and this is something you might experience now with your podcast, if it's not making a good return on CPM, like if your CPM is low, YouTube has way less incentive to push it out to people. So it actually affects your views. Like they favor people that get high CPMs. So I'm sure your CPM on your new channel is much higher than your old school one. But a part of you probably just wants to keep the OG channel going just because it's got the follower base, right?
Right. I mean, do you know how to naturally get your CPM back or like grow it higher?
Dude, I tried everything, man. I went years tweaking things. When I started doing pranks in 2019, well, I did pranks in 2018, but when I really went hard on them, my whole idea was like, okay, these drunk interviews, man, they're so inappropriate. They're so vulgar. Like, this isn't sustainable. I got to switch. And that's when I went to the pranks. Pranks started blowing up, but like the CPM never really changed. So I was like, this is fucked. I'm going to sign with a network. And then one of the things was like, hey, like, let's improve the CPM. But it never really changed, man. And there's a couple of factors of CPM. Like, for example, when your audience is younger, they don't purchase as much as far as like ad spend goes. So like the advertisements on the videos aren't worth as much as they are on, say, financial channels. You could also say that like the attention span is shorter. Pranks and drunk interviews, the peak time of them has changed a little bit. But with all that being said, I heard this from a YouTuber that has like 9 million subs. He's like, dude, once you fucking put one political, dude, I would do like abortion debates. Like I would film abortion debates. I would go to Pride and there'd be dudes talking about sucking 100 million dicks. Like just the most degenerate videos. And once you do a couple of those on YouTube, they like shadow mark you forever. I was trying to combat this because like, why is the CPM so low? This is weird. So, like I said, I upload the exact same video on different channels, and CPM was 3 to 4 times as high. Like everything was the same. So, I don't think you can truly recover. I mean, maybe if you got like a guy working at YouTube to like overview the account and like tweak a couple things, but it's not necessarily worth that much effort.
Do you think censoring your videos can actually improve your CP? Like, say for this podcast, right? So I'll have a on. And maybe we might get into some of the degenerate topics, but I censor certain keywords. Do you think YouTube can still pick up on that, or?
Yeah, so it's not so much the swear words I noticed, because like on my podcast, Good Bro Bad Bro, the CPM is like it can go anywhere from like $10 to $15, which is really high. And the whole time I'm swearing, right? I try not to swear.
It goes up even bigger, right? It's like now we're at a like maybe a 500,000 subscriber channel at that point.
Oh, right? Yeah. I think so. This is what I've learned, man. Like, it's not so much the swearing; it's more so controversial topics. Like when my channel started out, I was doing political events. I was doing sensitive topics like abortion, legalization of drugs. I would go to protests where there was like very like, you'd have these Antifa guys. I don't know if you have. Well, actually, you guys are in the States. You have them. Like those people that wear bandanas. They throw bricks through windows, but they're built like this tripod. Like those anarchist freak communist people.
Yeah.
Dude, it's controversial videos. I think that just doing controversial videos enough times in 2022, swearing is not as important as it used to be. It was the controversial stuff. So you have to lean away from the controversial stuff. And by controversial, I don't even mean like sex to an extent. But if you do, like, your CPM is not that good because probably of the sexual stuff. But if you did political stuff, if you did abortion stuff, like it would drop 50% more, dude. It would bury it. But yeah, I ran an experiment doing that. When I switched to pranks, I started censoring them, thinking like, oh, like it's just because I said fuck a couple times. Nothing changed, man. So I actually started a new channel. It's just called Denmo. And I'm going to transition into posting on there. And I have more confidence that I could get it huge growth than my main channel, just because my main channel, it just, it's all my fault, I guess, running it in the past with all the degenerate stuff. Like, I think you would probably do things differently if you started your channel again. You probably would stay away from certain topics maybe, or have like a separate channel for it. But as far as like AdSense goes, like once you go too controversial, it's I would say not fixable for AdSense.
Gotcha.
Here's a question for you. What were some of the biggest mistakes you made when you were starting out on YouTube throughout the years even? And how did you find solutions to them? Like, what did you change?
I think, so around December this year, I had my channel hit a super dip. Like, I had maybe a streak of 7 to 8 videos where it was like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And I was just like, oh, this is it for me. This is it.
What do you mean 8 out of 10? What do you mean?
Like, how when you upload a video, the YouTube ranks the video in accordance to your last 10 videos.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. Okay. So it was like around December. The dry spell happened between like November to like January. So like a month and a half where it was just like terrible. Right. And I think partially I dropped videos that like my audience didn't care about. And they cared about to an extent, but it was just I dropped a series where it was like a 3 video series of this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Okay. Right. And I put so much money into the production and into making these, and You know what's funny? Those videos blew up on every other platform. Facebook, TikTok, not Instagram, but like Facebook especially, and TikTok too.
Oh, is this the Akatsuki Confessions?
No, that was.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action movie. I see.
Yeah. So when I had so much like high hopes for those videos,
Damn.
and when I dropped them, I think it was like after a day, it hit like 50,000 views, and I was just accustomed to getting like 200,000, 150K. Like that was my average after one day. And then when I dropped those, like 3 weeks in a row, and bro, like I worked on that project for over a year. And then when I dropped, because after I dropped one, right, and it did terrible, I'm like, fuck, I still got 2 more to drop.
Right.
And I already saw that the first one wasn't doing well. Right. And then I spent fucking damn near 30,000 making this project. And I don't think I've ever dropped that much on anything, like in my life, bro. I don't even have a car worth that much.
Yeah.
So then when I'm seeing the return, I'm like, this is the most I've invested for the worst return I've ever gotten. Like, yeah, the project was fun. Yeah, it was a good video. It was a great video. Mm-hmm. Crazy effects. Right?
Yeah.
But then, you know, once reality said, bro, I cried. I don't think I don't remember the last time crying over like my something I did for work.
Right.
I am a failure.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems with YouTube, man, and no social media influencer is ever honest about it. But like when your business is, you know, your content, your channel is your name, and the videos don't perform well, it just destroys you inside, right?
Yeah.
Because if you, let's say Jimmy Zhang runs a concrete company, and for a month nobody buys any concrete, right? It's like, okay, people just didn't need concrete, but you put your heart and soul into content and you just get like nuked by the algorithm. You only get like 50,000 views or whatever. You think, okay, I am less valuable now. People don't care about me as much. It like burns your soul, bro. And that's what makes people end up doing videos that only perform well, right? So like, I'm sure you were doing this thing you were very passionate about and you're like, fuck, like I really want to make this Yu-Gi-Oh thing work, but nobody gave a fuck, and it burned you on YouTube anyways. And then you're like, I need that validation of getting that view range I'm accustomed to back. Let me go back to what people want to see. And that's when you probably switched back to some other stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What initially even gave me the motivation to do the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament was because I made a Beyblade tournament video. A 32-player Beyblade tournament video that performed like amazing. It's like one of my most viewed video up to date. And now I also got like a fat sponsorship from that too, right? So I got like an $8,000 sponsorship plus I got a 2 million view video. I'm like, oh yeah, time to double down, right?
Yeah.
On these anime tournaments. So it was like a combination of like success and passion. So I'm like, oh, I figured it out. But then, you know, as time went by, the project needed more and more and more work too, right? The effects just got like, oh, I gotta go crazier on the effects. I gotta add sound design. I gotta add fucking orchestration.
Dude, I looked at a little bit of it, man. The visual effects are crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's insane.
For me, for a guy who just does like street interviews, like that was just so out of my comfort zone in every way. And sometimes, bro, like getting out of your comfort zone might not be like, you can't just rely on like passion and like, you know, all that cliche self-help advice to make something work.
Oh, no, dude.
And I think that was my like wake up call to like, all right, I need to be a little bit smarter about content, and also just where I am in life 22. I'm like, when I made that, I was 25. I'm 26 now. And I think I'm at a place where I'm heading towards my later 20s.
Yeah.
And my values has also changed a little bit. I can't afford to be spending this much money on just like, I guess, quote unquote, my passion. Like something that I'm just like, oh yeah, I love this, so I'm gonna spend money to do it. Like, I need to have a healthy balance of like things I could be passionate about, things I like doing, but I also just got like what's gonna bring back like a really high return.
It's true. It's interesting you say that about like transitioning into a different space, I guess, because you're so used to doing like these interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
I was in the same situation, dude. I was doing drunk interviews for years, and I was doing pranks too. And like my whole thing, so I started YouTube very accidentally. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, director when I was a kid, but I was not into it. I just like stopped doing that. And then I was in the trades. I ran a property management business. I accidentally stumbled back into YouTube through like compilation videos. Then I started doing drunk interviews. But like, as I started to build it, I'm like, I'm going to get bored interviewing drunk people eventually. And so let me just switch to pranks. And dude, it was crazy because I just did them because like several people advised me to do it. And all these pickup line videos just exploded. And I didn't even think about it. I thought of them as pranks, but what they really were is they actually help people. But I remember taking a huge risk. I'm like, well, I'm always doing these interviews. I'm always doing these pranks. I'm always doing like these big street parties. So what if I just like combined everything into like one movie? And that was when I did the Taking the Virgin to the Club thing, man. It was totally random. Like, I had the idea for a while, but it's 90 minutes long. Like, because it's all of a sudden I went from doing interviews and pranks to like, it was like a vlogumentary. It was like a documentary out of nowhere. And it slapped, but it was totally different than anything I've done before. It'd be like probably something what you learned too, if all of a sudden you dropped a vlog or you dropped a Yu-Gi-Oh series when people aren't even used to that, it could go one of two ways. It could explode or it could go like totally down the stinker. But then I had the Virgin Squad series as well. And I did like, I think 8 or 9 episodes, and they did really good views wise, but I'm using all this copyrighted music in all of them. The CPM's bad anyways. And I did like merch with it, but realistically, like the whole reason I did it was because then I can essentially show people like investors, producers, media production companies, like, hey, this is what one guy can do with help from friends, but also like just a good idea and editing and whatnot. So the way I looked at it is like, YouTube is kind of just fun and games. And what I mean by that is like, YouTubers and then the entertainment world like don't really connect. Like actors, Hollywood, movies, they don't really take YouTubers seriously. And I don't think they ever will, because it's just two different industries. But what I'm doing is I'm leveraging the following I have to get relationships and meetings with people that are in the television and acting space that can go, okay, well, this guy, he didn't go to acting school or writing school, but he was able to produce all this on his own. Like, so what I'm alleviating to you is that like that series you made with the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, you could potentially leverage that as like, hey, this could be a series, maybe not that idea in particular, but like Jimmy Zhang, can make movies, I can make a web series, I can make a television series. And if you partner with the correct production company, you could turn that into some sort of contract with Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or something like that. So that's the way I look at it. Like that $30,000 investment you made into that series, that could pay off dividends in the future, because you've essentially made a multi-part creative series, and you just have to pitch it to the right network, I suppose, and then potentially get it picked up.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. Made me feel a little better too.
Well, makes me feel better too. I hope I didn't do all that shit for nothing. to be honest, like I love YouTube, but I've done it so long. The real way that I get to find joy and purpose is helping others, but also like expressing myself the way I want to. So, it's that fine balance where, yeah, you have to pay the bills, but you also need to like be like, is it worth it doing something you don't like in order to make money in a job? Because, if I want to do something I didn't like for money, I would just go back to the businesses I ran before YouTube. So
I think
go ahead.
I think there's a way to also package your videos in a way where you could still. So this is what I'm basically moving forward now. Is that like I get that, like, some of the drunk interviews, like it could be mundane and it could become like repetitive, but I know two things that my audience will still enjoy, which is like seeing me with a girl. And however I can make that possible, it don't even have to be me with a girl, but just a girl involved. However I could make that possible, they'll come back and watch, right? So it could be a completely different concept. Like I could now maybe tie that in with me wanting to travel the world. So now I'm meeting girls from like all over the world. That's something I would, oh my God, I would enjoy doing over anything else. But is it something that like Yu-Gi-Oh worthy? No, but it's still something and I could package it in a way where it will still garner, however many views, if not more, like that. I'm trying to like innovate ways where I could, grow an audience, and not do the same shit, but still doing something that I like. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I'm as you're saying this, I'm like looking over some of your videos too, like some of your more recent ones. Dude, one of the questions I had for you actually was, how pivotal was your editing style? Like, do you do your own edits, or do you just have like a beast level editor?
No, I have multiple beast level editors.
How long did it take you to like get them to edit the way? Because I assume you were probably a really good editor back in the day, but you're just like, I gotta switch.
No, I was using Sony Vegas, bro. I was editing like Call of Duty montages, and I just got really good at cutting on Sony Vegas. Like I would just so fast, so like I could probably cut together a video faster than anybody. But in terms of effects, I know nothing.
Dude, it's funny you say that. I love fucking Sony Vegas. Like I use it for all my cuts, and that's what I tell to everybody else when they recommend a different program. I'm like, dude, you can cut like butter on Sony Vegas. It's so fast. It's like nothing comes close to it. But the effects and stuff, I mean, Sony Vegas is a bucket program. It's slow and glitchy, but anyways, so you were doing Vegas edits, and then you transitioned into like, you had somebody edit the effects on the videos? You did the cuts?
Yeah. Now I just edit the rough cut, or like I'll have an editor basically do a rough cut, give them raw footage. They'll send back like a 20 to 25-minute rough cut, and then I'll probably bring that down to like 10 to 12 minutes. And like, I don't know, like I'll spend 30 minutes to an hour doing the rough cut,
bro,
and then send it back, and then boom, I have my video.
And then so you upload like a Google Drive. And, this is good for all the people watching that want to start their own YouTube channels. This is very useful for them. You have a Google Drive account. Here's all the raw footage. Here's the premise of the video. They put it into 20 to 30-minute cut. You take it, you get it in Vegas, and you just slice it up quick times. And then you give it back to them. They add sound effects, graphics, subtitles.
Everything. I think it took a while for me to get it to this system where it's like, I think very, very efficient for both like what I want in a video, and like just the time it takes for me to like invest in the video. Right.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so funny you say that, because I feel the same way. Like I can cut a video so fucking fast and efficiently in Vegas, but once you do subtitles, music, graphics, all that, that's what it's just like. It's like pulling teeth out. It's so painfully boring, bro. But the cuts, I love the cuts, man. I love the cuts. So do these guys do they do it in Vegas too?
No. They're using Premiere, I think.
So they must be able to open your Vegas file in Premiere.
No. So I'll still export it and then I'll just send it back.
Oh, you render it.
Yeah, I render it. Yeah.
And then okay, I got you.
Yeah. But I think for people that's watching that wants to start YouTube, yeah, like to scale it up to like where I am now, where I have like two full-time editors and Gabe, which is like he kind of manages and oversees a lot of the editing.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I started off, it was, I had one editor that we went back and forth on, but I think the most efficient system, I think, is just having someone doing a rough cut, you cutting that down and having them do effects. Oh, but if it's like a storytelling video, I think, they send back the rough cut. You maybe you organize the video to how you want it, and then do voiceovers, and then just insert the voiceovers into like the places where you want them, and then have like the editor compile the story and the sound effects on their own. But I think the editing skills it takes to edit like a street interview and like, one of these storytelling videos, it's a lot. The skill set is a lot higher for the story.
Yeah. I've noticed that as well. Like when you add narration and shit, like,
yeah.
Because then you start pretending you're Martin Scorsese, and you have like these sick little segues and transitions, and Rolling Stones comes in the background. Dude, got you. So do you have like is it an American editor, or do you use like Upwork or some shit like that?
I've gotten a lot of my team from just people that watch my videos. So right. I'll just give editing opportunities for just my fans, and honestly, it's worked out. And a lot of them, they might be in a third world country, but the exchange rate is just right. Like the cost of living is just a lot lower.
Oh yeah. Gotcha.
Here, so a couple hundred here is worth a couple thousand over there.
Yeah, like Philippines, man. That's like one of the hubs right now for editors.
Yeah, and for people that don't understand outsourcing, it's just the best way to run a business.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. It's true. It's true. That's one of the like right now I'm sitting on I think like 12 prank videos that I haven't even gotten around to editing yet. But like it's one of those really tough things because like your style of editing is so indicative of your YouTube channel in general, and letting somebody else put their hands on it, it's like a baby. You'll be like, no, this is wrong. Why did you put this there? Especially like that's the artist side, but the business side, yeah, it's way better to like outsource it. And I think that in the future, that's why I'm opting for more of like, if I'm with a production company, I would just be in the video, and then they would have full creative. Like there's people that are way better than me at editing and storytelling, I suppose. So like, it's important to kind of stick to your strengths, I guess. Like, if you were editing videos, you would not be able to put out the same quality that you do all the time. But I like that you set it up that way with the cuts. That's something I've done in the past as well. And it's funny you use Vegas too. Like it's such a classic move.
People shit on Vegas, but bro, it's just you cut so fast.
Dude, it's butter. When they send you the rough cut, do they send you the rough cut in Vegas?
No. They send me like a Google Drive, and then I download it.
Got you. Okay. I was gonna say, so you render it 3 different times before it goes on YouTube.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe it fucks up the quality a little bit, but I don't know.
Dude, your quality looks good. As you started building your channel, like how did it affect your social life? The people around you, did they treat you differently? Did women start paying way more attention to you? did you notice a lot of people trying to attach to you? Like, hey, bro, like your content's dope, man. Like,
to be honest, if I get that, I like immediately, like my mind kind of ignore them.
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I've always had a good filter system for like good people to come to my life. And that's on a basis of just like gut feeling and vibes and just how selfless I see another person. So like by that radar, I've had great people come into my life. Despite where I'm at, you know, people always have a stereotype about LA, but it's like, nah, there's great people everywhere. You just have to have a better filter system and better system at saying no to people, and just a better system at letting good people come into your life. Yeah, there's great people everywhere, bro. Yeah, it's just about like, it's up to you to know who you say no and yes to. But if anything, social life, I feel like I have less of a social life now than I had, you know, when I started YouTube.
Yeah, bro, you probably don't have time for a social life anymore.
Yeah, the only time I do is, you know, when I'm traveling at the end of a shoot, you know, oh yeah, I'm down to hang out, I'm down to party.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I think those are the times where I'm hanging out with people, just chilling. But I do appreciate the times where somebody else organizes something and just invites me, and then I'll just fit into my schedule.
That's the best, bro. It's like a business. It's like your friend group. You turn your friend group into a business too. Like you can't always be arranging everybody to hang out. You gotta outsource that, bro.
No, I mean, you also just you start hanging out with people you work with.
Yeah.
That's the, like, I mean, my mom told me this and I was like, yeah, that's fact, Mom. I have a question for you, bro.
Sure.
This is more on like I would say your coaching side.
Okay.
That I think you started what, a year ago, 2 years ago, recently?
Yeah, so I graduated from business school, so I've been doing like consulting for a couple of years, like just for business, marketing, social media shit. But I took a long break from it when I started doing YouTube. And yeah, I started doing consulting for like publicly to like people that watch the YouTube videos, probably I want to say like 8 or 9 months ago. And I started scaling it in March and April, but then I just started getting overwhelmed by it. So I scaled back my availability. But yeah, I think once you hit about 100 consultations, you get really good at like helping people out, but fitting it into 1 hour. Like when you first start, you'll often go over that hour, or you won't even know how to fill up the hour. Like people will ask you a stupid question. Like sometimes people will book a call and it'll be for like a really simple question. Like, how do I start filming drunk interviews? And I'm like, really, man, I gotta milk this for an hour. Right. So that's actually why I've started to niche more towards like the dating and social life thing, because a lot of the YouTube related questions, I feel like it was just fans wanting to talk to me, to be honest. So I'm trying now to kind of go towards people that actually need the help, and they don't just want to hear it from me. They actually like need the problem solved. But it's one of my favorite things to do, man. Like if I'm ever in a bad mood, if I'm tired, lazy, whatever, after a consultation, after helping somebody solve their problem for an hour, nothing better, man. I feel like amazing. I just feel like $1 billion. It sets me on fire. Podcasts do that too, right? So like even through this, I'm very inspired. You know, afterwards, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, business related. But like when you just talk to other people and you're focused for a long period of time, it just wakes up the human in you. It makes you feel really good. And that's probably why I'm going to keep doing consulting for a long time, even though, I mean, I'll just raise my prices if it gets to an extent where like I can't be bothered. But it just, you feel so good helping people out, man. It's like the purest form of giving back to humans, because you solve such a specific problem to them. They implement it, and then their life changes because of it, and it makes them happier. And you were the one that was able to pass that knowledge an application to them. So it's a really powerful feeling, man. I know you wanted to get into it a couple months ago.
I mean, I'm right now, like even on the podcast, I would invite callers to just call in, and then I would kind of help their the whatever problems that they got going on, like on the call, and then I would upload it onto YouTube, and so people watching could also take away from it. And I think, yeah, like that same feeling that you're describing, I'm there, but like I get it. It's weird. I mean, I've never done it like this before, where I'm talking to them in person. The next thing I want to do though is invite one of them out to a bar with me, or to like a club with me, or even to an event with me, and then I help them out like in person. Because again, like advice, you're not taking action really. You're just hearing shit. But if I bring them out, that's when like they take action, and that's when like real results could happen. And have you done that before?
Well, with the Virgin Squad, bro.
Right. No, but like off camera. Have you?
Yeah, dude, off camera. So I get stopped a lot in my city, and I always make friends with like a lot of my fans. It's just like being a YouTuber. Like when I look at it in retrospect, it was such a good idea, because people that you'd never be friends with, all of a sudden they recognize you and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And so yeah, I've helped out a lot of guys in person. There's a big YouTuber. Well, there's a couple, but they in real life they're like really socially retarded, just super awkward. And I've been able to I've helped people in real life privately though. And what I've learned too is, especially in this fucking woke liberal culture we got online, most of the people that I help, like in my own life, like they have to be very hush hush, zip zip about anything that I talk to them about, because like even the idea of saying that men and women are different genders nowadays is like controversial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So a lot of people around me, they have to like, there's an old famous law of power: think for yourself, but behave like others. So, a lot of guys, unfortunately, they're not allowed to, because they have normal jobs, right? They'll get fired. The person at work will be like, "I heard you said this," and they have to like kind of be very careful with the words they use and things they do.
You got some backlash from the what was it? I think it was like the hobbies thing on TikTok.
Bro, yeah. Hilarious, dude. People, I swear, man, TikTok, they need to have like some kind of IQ test before you can make an account on there, man. Like, I had this clip and I'm like, dude, so first of all, me and my buddy doing this, we've been running pranks and interviews for years. So we are dedicated trolls. We are satirical characters. And that's what made the show controversial at first, was because we had a mix of actual really good advice, but then us just feeding off each other trolling. Okay.
Yeah.
And we did an episode, God forbid, things to avoid in women that you may date. And one of them, we were talking about women that have no hobbies, I suppose. And I think I said, how many women do you know that actually have any hobbies? And my buddy, doing an exaggerated reaction, was like, like none, And then immediately after, I'm like, well, the same thing goes for guys too. Most guys just play video games and jerk off all day, but that part was left out conveniently of the TikToks, right? All the TikTok was how many women do you know actually have hobbies? None. Right? And then here's the thing, man, on the internet, there's a whole market against men right now. And I say this with a caveat. There's also a market for bashing women. Okay. There's lots of podcasts that bash women.
Bro, like, oh my God.
There's a market for both. Okay. But here's the thing, because there's such a market for bashing women, all these pages have been like, all right, we're going to just go after all these guys that even speak about women. And they saw that clip of me and they're like, we're making some money today. Oh yeah. I got him. Another one of these guys. And they had no idea that like any of my history as a YouTuber or any of the other stuff, like they thought I was dead serious. the video was cut, and that was enough. They went off with it to the races, man. And it's, I'll say this too. It's such an irresponsibility by these big YouTubers because they know what they're doing. They like, you know, like the reaction channels. They'll be like, oh, Jimmy Zhang said this. Well, they don't even know it's Jimmy Zhang. They just see the clip and they go, oh, fuck this guy. He's misogynist. Misogynism.
Here's what I got on them. If they say so, I'm going to turn it on them and call them racist. Oh, yeah, you would target the Asian guy, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Hey, yeah.
Dude.
So let one of these Curtis Connors come at me.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't work when you're a 6'2" white guy, man. I got height privilege, white privilege, fucking YouTube privilege. I don't know. It's ridiculous, bro. Like if you're a brown guy or an Asian guy, or God forbid, if you were a woman and you said that, it's all good. It's all good. You know, like hypothetically, like it's such a weird world where there's these rules going on where like, okay, well, Jack, since you identify as a woman, like my hair's long now. And if I said I identified as a woman, and this is the biggest reason this is so stupid is because there are people that like are trying to be a different gender. They're not harming anybody. They made a decision to have a surgery after a certain age. So like, you know, if you want to be a woman and say you're a man or vice versa, fine. But what happens is when it's not even them that are freaking out online, it's these people that are trying to white knight so hard for these non-existent causes. And they get into this weird space where like, oh, like, you know, you're a man, so you can't speak about this. Oh, you're a white man. Like, what would you know about pregnancy as a man? You can't experience that. Like, it's like, okay, I know a cat is a cat. Do I need to be a cat to know a cat is a cat? Anyways, a bit of a tangent there, but it's a big industry right now. And I think it's all going to flip on its head because you got to think like all these people that are online that are used to seeing bite-sized clips from the woke liberal reaction channels of the world, like their whole world that they have built up around them that they think is reality is not. Like once they leave their house, nobody's like that. Like, so I think it's going to hurt them all in the end.
On that note of red flags to avoid in women, what are some other ones?
Dude, okay, number one, any woman that uses TikTok regularly. Like, I think, Jimmy. Okay, look, it's okay to play video games 1 hour a week, or it's okay to scroll on your phone when you're on the toilet. But let's be honest, man. Social media is trash. It's garbage. Like 99% of it is just useless shit, especially when you get into the whole political TikTok, purple hair, safe space. Dude, it's just all like complaining and whining. And you got to think like, what kind of people consume this all day? Like all the friends of mine that don't work and don't have businesses, guess what they do? They're on TikTok all day, man. All the friends of mine that are successful, happy, they're in relationships, they're healthy, they're not significantly overweight or depressed or anything like that. They don't even go on social media, man. So like when you are thinking about somebody that you're dating, that you are potentially spending the rest of your life with, why would you shoot yourself in the foot by dating somebody with a low attention span that consumes shit all day, bro? Like, you know, okay, so that's one thing you want to avoid.
At a point, it's like, damn. And TikTok, a lot of times, it depends on what you're watching on TikTok. If it's information that I would say helpful to your life and you act on it, cool. But if it's, you know, if it's just mind-numbing like content, I just feel like you're not. It's taking away your freedom of
thought.
I'm
saying YouTube too, man. All platforms, really. But that's one of the old cop-outs.
A lot of these people, they can't help it. It's so fucking addicting.
I know.
You know? And like I get trapped. Maybe I'm a fucking red flag.
That's why I speak about this so much, because not only have I been in the trap, but I'm also somebody that has built this for other people. Like I have TikToks that have 60 million views, man. Like how many of those people actually did something after watching them? Right? So I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. Another reason though, is like think about it this way, man. Like, would you date a girl that smokes long term?
No.
Smoking is unhealthy for you. And
Yeah.
social media is the new smoking, bro. Like, I'm not even talking about physical, right?
Yeah.
You got to think, okay, people that are compelled to have certain vices like video games, masturbation, social media, alcohol, in order for you to let something like that consume part of your day, there's a cost, right? It's what you aren't doing, which is more important than what you are doing. And certain things like, yeah, let's say smoking has direct health effects on your body, but social media, it destroys your attention span, you know, the motor skills that give you motivation and dopamine in order to like pursue the things that would really solve the problems in your life. Like social media for the most part is a vice, but it's like you said, masturbation, if you do it healthily, like once a month, not a big deal. Same thing with TikTok. But let's be honest, man, the statistics show that the average person, especially 18 to 30, like the millennials, are on their phone on average 5 hours a day. You can't tell me that they're just sending emails for work or business or setting up important meetings via text. No, man, they're consuming shit. And it has such an effect on mental health. And this is what's ironic about these TikTok freak shows going after me about this, is that what I'm doing is helping men be social and get off their phones and approach women in real life the right way, having done it thousands of times to teach people. But in addition to that, I want to spread the message that is ruining young women's lives, which is that social media is toxic. And no, social media is not a hobby, right? To bring back to the hobbies thing, you got to think about the mental health of women, specifically young women, since social media became popular, man. Anxiety rates, depression rates through the roof, eating disorders. All these women are online comparing themselves to Instagram models, to TikTokers. Like, here's how to blow up on TikTok. Be a hot girl and dance. That's all you have to do, right? So most women, they don't have the luxury to do that. And it wears on them when they consume it and they see these beautiful women doing things that they wish they could, getting attention from men that they wish they could, but they can't. And, you know, I think it's just leading to anxiety, depression, increased SSRI usage. Like, it's awful, right? And it affects both sides. But, you know, that's why.
I think an important trait to have for women is self-awareness and just awareness in general, right? And that's one of the like major green flags that I look for now in a partner, is that if you have the self-awareness to kind of and self-control to kind of decide what you should watch on TikTok and what you should watch on YouTube, and then get off of it, right? Because there's a lot of important, like TikTok, as much as, you know, bad, there is still good. It's like you're able to access so many things so quickly. Maybe somebody might learn about a cooking recipe in like 30 seconds, right? And, you know, but you're aware of like all the other shit that could be harmful.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I'm definitely Dunning-Krugering this, where like I am giving bias to like shit content, you know? Right? Like if you're looking up cooking recipes or like a funny dog video for 5 minutes a day, that's okay.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, but the thing is, most people, like 95% of people, like just don't have that kind of like
they don't have the control, man. They don't have the self-control. Yeah.
Yeah. And to know that, like, okay, what this app is, what do I need it for, and you know, I could obtain it from. But like, and that's a green flag for me. Just self-awareness, self-control, fucking sexy, bro.
Boom, love that too, man. Real quick, a couple more red flags. High body count. Obviously, you don't want a girl that's been with a lot of guys.
What's a high count for you, bro?
Dude, the cutoff point. Oh man, it's tough. It changes all the time, I'd say. But society is trying to make it okay, but it's not okay to have a super high body count. Funny enough, though, women don't care about a guy's body count because, well, they do to an extent. Certain ones do, but like it's all about status. It's all about value. Whereas men, we're very different in what we're attracted to. So I won't say an exact body count, but you know, you guys can use your imagination there.
I'll say, okay. So
as much
as like, I think, bro, less than half of mine.
Yeah, but you have a lot of kills, Jimmy. I think that's. I would not date a girl that has half as many kills as you do, bro. That's way too high for me. Way too high.
Okay, it's single digits.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you fucked a lot of chicks.
Me? No. Mine's is a little. No, it's. We won't disclose that number, but I think for a girl, I think single digits. If her body counts at single digits,
that's amazing, right? And you know what? You know who gets mad at that? Women that don't have single digit body counts.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't even think that they should get mad, really. Like, I have a lot of porn star friends that, have high body counts.
I'm not talking about porn star friends or people in real life. I'm talking about idiots on TikTok, bro. Obviously, you're not walking down the street like, oh, you have 35 kills. Get away from me. I'm just saying, like, when you discuss these ideas, they trigger people's sense of entitlement to, like, give a really harsh opinion on that. Like, well, that's not true. And, that's what you are doing by putting that kind of content out there in the first place. But I agree with you, man. Like everybody has preferences, right? Like, think about dating apps for height on Bumble. If you're under 6 feet tall, then 60 to 70% of the people, the women on there, don't see you, right?
Yeah.
So if guys had a body count filter, like, oh, if you have more than 10 body count, I'm not interested in dating you. All of a sudden, that's anti-feminist. That's a huge fucking, wow, I can't believe you judge people by their body count.
But body count says a certain story about you. Body count says a certain. It tells. Yeah,
body count is everything, bro. It says it all. But I think we're gonna get stuck on body count. What's another thing, dude? I would say avoid women that don't have an education or career. Like, there's the odd woman that's an amazing construction worker or a firefighter. I know a lesbian that's a firefighter. She's awesome. I know a lesbian that's a hairdresser. She's awesome. But
do you education is within a woman's control?
Yeah, I mean, well, for men, like, here, let's be honest, women don't want to do trades. 95% of the trades in construction is men, Right. Where are all the women CEOs on the plumbing site? Where are all the women scrubbing toilet bowls?
Right.
They don't want that. They want their Ivy League fucking degree with their nice frame on the wall teaching kids in kindergarten. They don't want to do that kind of shit. Same with engineering, STEM. Like, I like that there's all these ways to encourage women to go into it, because it's not that we need more women in it. We just need people in it, period. Nobody wants to do hard work anymore. Nobody wants to do engineering or construction. But guess what? Men are expendable. And they have to make shit work. So they are going to go and do it. And that's why they're dominated by men. But what I'm getting at, man, is I used to listen to a lot of, like, my friends for advice. Very bad idea, because the best advice you're going to get is from people significantly older than you. And I now have people I listen to that are in their 30s and 40s that have gone through divorce. They've gone through careers, many relationships. And one of the things they all say in common is, like, dude, you have to avoid dating women that don't have, like, a degree or a career, because what happens is, if you date them and you have kids with them and things don't work out, the burden of their entire life is now on you. You have to pay for a separate house for them to live in. You have to pay child support, massive settlement and divorce. Because imagine this, man, you're a woman, you're in your 20s, you're beautiful, everything's great. You meet a guy, he's like, don't worry, babe, I got a good job, you can date me. What happens is, her life is now set up to rely on the guy financially and then, raise the family. But if things don't work out, what? Is she just going to go back to school at 35? Is she going to just spend 4 years while raising kids on tuition?
You really see a lot of women like that?
There's a video I watched. There's a lawyer, a female lawyer, and she handles family law. And she's had about 60, 70 clients, which is a pretty small pool relatively, but still 60, 70 clients. And she says the number one way the majority of her cases end where men get fucked is by women that don't have a degree or a job during the divorce. Because all of a sudden, they divorce the man, they have to go back to work, they have to go to school, and they have to get, like, an education while raising kids. it's just too much of a burden on them. It shatters their whole life. So what I'm getting at is, as a man, you want to avoid getting into relationships where the woman completely relies on you. That used to be the common dream. Like, dude, I'd love for it to be my grandparents' times. My grandfather, he was a car salesman. My grandmother, she was a nurse. They met at 20 and they had 6 kids. And that was it. And dude, I would love that. But it's not like that anymore, man. The family law is set up to fuck over men. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, there's certain states, as an American, there's certain states that you could marry in that are much more favorable. And I'm not talking just about money. I'm talking about like custody. So all I'm saying is a lot of these things that are considered red flags, like, I don't know why people get so butthurt about them. It's like, imagine spending 30 years with somebody or longer, like the rest of your life with somebody, but there's a couple things you didn't pay attention to. And now you're stuck with this person, or God forbid, you get through a divorce and you just get ruined. Like, these are all preventative.
I think people don't believe statistics. People believe what they see and what
they feel, bro. What they feel.
Right. What they feel. And statistics, and they don't live through statistics. And a lot of times they're on TikTok. They're like, what, like 22 on TikTok, and they see some shit like that. What? How dare you? You're saying women aren't fucking so you're saying, like, women have no education, and
dude, I only date educated women. Like, but I only date women that are educated. Like, I'm dating a girl that's a doctor right now, and that's amazing. Why would I want to date anybody I don't want to? Right? That's what the people on the internet forget. Like, nobody is forcing you to be like, oh, this guy said this, then like, dude, it's just such a
be a better woman. Be a better woman to a man that you want to marry someday.
Yeah, and you know what, too? I'll say this, too. Guys are just as bad. Men have a fuck ton of red flags, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Women are actually much more stable than men because, men getting success in dating and life and everything, like, it's way more complicated. You have to risk a lot. Like, if you're a woman, you will always find a man to get you pregnant. You'll always find a man that will date you. And all these women that say, oh, I can't find a good man. No, it's because you're trying to date a guy that's way higher status or attraction than you. That's the only reason, right? If a woman lowered her standards, she would have a boyfriend and be married in a couple months. Easily. A man can never do that, man. Some men can. If you're a really fortunately attractive guy, or you're wealthy, or you have high status, you can go get a girlfriend pretty easy. But that's only like the top 5% of guys, man. So, like, there's this bizarro land that people on the internet live in where they think that dating is equal for men and women. It's not. And what I'm getting at, though, is because men have to be much more risk-taking, they have to be kind of crazy. Like, for every Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, there's a guy that burnt everything to the ground. It didn't work for him. He's homeless now. He's cleaning toilets in a Dollarama or something, and it just didn't work. But society doesn't care. Like, if a man isn't funny, attractive, charismatic, or rich, nobody cares. They just get forgotten by society. Like, homelessness, what is it, like 80% men? I mean, all the men dying in the workplace. It's people just don't care. And that is the burden of being a man. And that is, it's very important. And I'm not saying that there's like this, I don't know what I'm getting at really. All I'm saying is dating is like, especially if you're thinking long-term with somebody, you got to do your homework, man. Dating is an investment. Whoever you date, you are investing in them. And women look at men as investments. Women don't want to be dating a guy for 10 years and then he's broke. He has no future. All of a sudden, they wasted the best years of their beauty on a fucking loser.
Right.
And what are they going to do now? Go back to the dating market at 36?
Right.
It's tough out there for everybody, not just men or women.
I think that those are some great points, bro.
Dude, yeah, we got fired up there. Any other questions you got, man, before we wrap this?
Yeah, this has been... I do have a lot more questions, like, post podcast. So I think we could wrap it up now.
All right, Jimmy, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. That was great. Thanks for doing this, man. Be sure, where can people find you?
Funny enough, this could be like the first like collab podcast. So you could actually find us, more content on the Down Bad show where we got more of this podcasts, more conversations on the Down Bad show.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this more often, bro. I feel like we have some sobering thoughts to share.
For sure, absolutely. It's been a great conversation, bro. Great having you on the Down Bad show as well.